Welcome back to Cycling the Carretera Austral with Austral Bikes. Today is day 4, and you'll be riding from the quiet fishing village of Contao to the gateway of Patagonia's fjords, Hornopirén. Imagine cycling through a place where friendly dogs become your tour guides and ancient forests meet pristine fjords. That's the magic of Chile's Carretera Austral, and today we're exploring one of its most fascinating segments.
That's such an evocative way to describe this route. The 35-kilometer stretch from Contao to Hornopirén really does pack in an incredible diversity of experiences.
Let me tell you about what makes starting in Contao so special. Those local tiny stores with their fresh bread and regional cheese varieties represent generations of food culture. Some of these family-run shops have been feeding cyclists for over 50 years.
You know what's fascinating about these villages? The way they've adapted to cycle tourism while maintaining their traditional fishing culture. The morning routines of locals and cyclists have created this unique cultural intersection.
Speaking of unique experiences, the road transformation from pavement to gravel near Puelche is like crossing an invisible boundary. And those famous dogs, studies show they've actually developed specific routes they follow with cyclists.
That reminds me. A local researcher documented how some of these dogs have been greeting cyclists for over 8 years, creating their own unofficial welcome tradition.
The coastline between Puelche and Hornopirén holds some incredible secrets too. Those secluded beaches are home to over 15 species of coastal birds, and the fjord waters host pods of Chilean dolphins.
Well, that brings up an interesting point about timing. How does the marine wildlife activity align with the cycling season?
Here's something surprising. The peak cycling season from December to February coincides perfectly with the highest marine biodiversity period. Researchers have recorded up to 30% more dolphin sightings during these months.
Those statistics really highlight the importance of planning around natural patterns. What about the ferry system at Hornopirén?
The ferry system is fascinating. It handles over 50,000 passengers annually, but only about 2% are cyclists. Yet these ferries have become crucial connection points in the cycling community, with waiting areas often turning into impromptu gear exchange spots.
That social aspect of the journey really adds another dimension to the experience. The seafood traditions in Hornopirén must play into that too.
Oh, absolutely. Let me share something interesting about that. The local fishing cooperatives have been operating since the 1960s, and some restaurants still use traditional cooking methods that are over 100 years old. The congrio recipes are actually protected as cultural heritage.
That's incredible context about the culinary history. How does this compare to what cyclists find further along the route?
Well, here's the dramatic shift. After Hornopirén, the next proper restaurant is about 120 kilometers away. You're going from having access to centuries-old culinary traditions to needing complete self-sufficiency.
Those hot springs in Hornopirén National Park must feel like a final luxury then.
They really do. And here's something most people don't know. These springs contain unique mineral compositions that local guides say are perfect for muscle recovery. The calcium content is 3 times higher than average thermal springs.
That scientific detail adds such valuable context. What about the camping infrastructure?
The camping situation tells an interesting story of adaptation. Local families have transformed their properties into cyclist-friendly spaces over the past 20 years. Some sites now host over 500 cyclists annually, creating a microeconomy around cycle tourism.
That economic impact must have really changed the local community dynamics.
Indeed, studies show that cycle tourists spend about 40% more time in Hornopirén than regular tourists, contributing significantly to the local economy. It's become a vital part of the region's sustainability.
Those numbers really put the importance of this route into perspective. What final advice would you give cyclists approaching this section?
Here's what the data shows. Cyclists who spend an extra day in Hornopirén have a 70% higher completion rate for the entire Carretera Austral. It's not just about rest. It's about acclimatization, proper gear checks, and mental preparation for the wilderness ahead.
Those statistics really drive home the importance of proper preparation. Until next time, when we'll explore those remarkable ferry crossings.
Looking forward to it. And remember, every pedal stroke on the Carretera Austral is writing part of an ongoing story that's been decades in the making.